So I want to briefly explain to you what this Shades of Green is about. When Tommy was on the ballot back in 2010, a group of us were together. That group would be, we call ourselves the A-team. It's Mario and Monica, who work with Tommy at the county, and then whoever his campaign assistants are at the time, and Tommy and myself. And we were in a meeting, and we were trying to think of something new and exciting and different to do, and I was wanting to get more involved, and so we came up with this idea to have this women's luncheon. So this was back in 2009, and it was so fun, and it was so, yeah, it was just exciting. Everyone had a great time. It was informative, and so as soon as it was over, we said we need to do this again. Our theme that first year, because my favorite color is green, and because Tommy is very much into green everything, we decided to call it Shades of Green. Having done the first one, when we wanted to do another one, we're like, okay, now what? You know, we can't change the color, we kind of have a theme going on, and so we decided that what we were going to do is go through Tommy's 6 transformational issues. If you have not heard Tommy's speech on his 6 transformational issues, I'm sure he would be happy to give it to you. But over and above what he's responsible for as a county commissioner, he has taken on 6 things that he thinks are extremely important to the community. Those things are, this is always a test. And our first year was resource recovery and recycling. The second Shades of Green we had was healthcare. The third Shades of Green we had last year was jail population and reentry. This year, our theme is Neighborhood Revitalization. We have 2 left, and they are energy and transportation. And so now each year, Shades of Green just chooses another one of Tommy's 6 transformational issues. We invite some very special guests that know a lot about our particular topic, and they come and inform us on some ideas about that respective topic. So welcome to Neighborhood Revitalization. This is our 2012 topic. This is an important topic to Tommy, and it's kind of fun. Tommy and I don't see each other a whole lot. But when we're getting ready for a Shades of Green, we schedule some meetings, and we talk about what topic is coming up. And neighborhood revitalization is one of those things that's really important to Tommy because he has never left the neighborhood that he was raised in. When Tommy was born at Santa Rosa Hospital and he went home to 140 Golden Crown. That was his primary residence. And you know where we live right now? 128 Golden Crown. 3 houses down from where Tommy was raised. My experience was very different. When I got taken home from Wilford Hall Hospital, where I was born, I went to my house at 230 Stolnet in Eastwood Village off of W.W. White Road. Anybody know where that is? Yay? Until I was 14 years old. Then my family moved to a newer subdivision, Camelot, on Round Table, out by Roosevelt High School. Then I went away to college, and when I came back, I moved to a newer neighborhood out off of Medical Drive because I was working at USAA, and I never went back. I never went back and saw Eastwood Village. I never went back and saw Camelot during all of that time. And then I married Tommy, and I moved back into Southeast San Antonio, and everything had changed tremendously. And I realized why he feels so strongly about neighborhood revitalization and making sure that you stay focused, that you have at least a small cadre of people that stay focused on keeping a neighborhood uplifted so that it can be a good, safe, beautiful place for you to live that you can have pride in. And so that's what brings us to our neighborhood revitalization Shades of Green. Today we have some excellent speakers for you and a really entertaining video of Tommy for you a little bit later. So without further ado, we're going to get started. When I walked into this beautiful room today, our next speaker was running around to the tables. Do you all see the goodies you have on your table? Yeah, this is courtesy of our next speaker. Lupe Landeros' entire career with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service spans a total of 29 years. She currently serves as the County Division Manager for A&M AgriLife Extension and is responsible for, that's right, 29 years? Okay. And is responsible for coordination and communications with Commissioners Court and other county and city departments. Before joining Bexar County, Lupe worked for Extension in Travis County, Brazos, and Nueces counties in Texas. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Texas State University, go Bobcats, and a Master of Education Administration from Texas A&M University at Corpus Christi, Texas. So please welcome the woman who gave you these little seeds at your table, Lupe Landeros.
Thank you, Karen. Are you guys warm, or is it just me? Because I'm very warm. I don't know whether we can turn the air on, or I'm just nervous up here, but I do see some people fanning themselves. I do see some people nodding their heads, so hopefully you all can wake up a little bit from my presentation. I did put a few goodies on your tables. The Alamo area Master Naturalist were so happy to know that I was coming here today. They wanted to give you awesome goodies, so they gave you either bluebonnet seeds or wildflower seeds that you can plant. And then I also provided you with a couple of literature handouts, one being the, I think it looks like this with a family at the front, the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. That is a very quick overview of the many programs that Extension offers in Bexar County. I won't be able to go through all of those, but what I'll focus today is what we do when it comes to neighborhood and community revitalization. There's also at your table the latest or one of the most recent issues of the Alamo area Texas Master Naturalist. They were so excited they gave me their copies of the newsletter. So they're always, as you get through my presentation, as I share my presentation, you're going to notice that the reason that AgriLife Extension is able to reach, we typically reach about around 400,000 individuals a year that attend our educational programs. We are an educational arm of the universities. You'll notice that we have A&M on our title. And the reason we have A&M, we are part of the state, federal, and county governments. We get funding, a little bit of funding from USDA. Most of our funding does come from the state level, and then about a quarter of our funding comes from county commissioners across the state. There are 254 counties in Texas, and we have we do work in all of the counties. We have a presence, and what I mean by that, there's a county office in 250 of those 254 counties. So someone somewhere knows about the county extension program. I was talking to one of the other speakers, and he goes, now, you guys have another name change. Those of you that have known, we've been around since 1914. In fact, the first county extension agent was hired here in Bexar County in 1918. And so we've been around for a while, and we started out with the name of Texas Agriculture Extension Service for about 100 years. Some of you are nodding your heads. And then all of a sudden, turn of the century, we had an identity crisis, and we've gone through 3 name changes. And we are now at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. But most of us people just call us the extension people, the extension office, or the county extension office. What we do, the best way that I can explain our role in the communities is that the individuals that are in my office they all have master's degrees or a bachelor, but predominantly master's degrees, and they are what you would consider a teacher, an educator. We're not in a classroom per se, we're not in the university, we're not in a school building, but we go and deliver the research, the science base that comes out of the universities to the general public through workshops, classes, seminars, field trips, you name it. And I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to attend any of our programs, but we go out to where the public is needing the information. I do want to acknowledge a couple of our Leadership Advisory Board members who are here. This is a group of individuals that are the ears and eyes of helping us know that we're reaching or that we are providing relevant programs to the community. I would like to, if Jerry Puckett, will you stand up or wave if you're still here? Thank you, Jerry. Cindy Taylor, is Cindy still here? Cindy? Thank you, Cindy. And we have a couple of our former lab members also, Mrs. Aurora Sanchez. She was our lab member a few years ago, and I saw Nancy Tacuat. Oh, there she is. Hi, Nancy. All right, just like with anything as an educator, we've got to share our mission statement. Basically, the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, we offer what is known as practical how-to education based on university research. The university comes up with the science, the research, and then we take that down to the consumer level. And we thrive, our goal is to be sure that our information is high quality and relevant education. And the way we do this, we are constantly evolving in our educational efforts. I mentioned the Leadership Advisory Board earlier. Those individuals basically twice a year, once a year, provide us with direction for the types of programs based on their knowledge and expertise in the community. And then we also rely on grassroots organizations to identify the issues every 5 years that is going to direct the work of the county extension agents. And then, of course, all of our areas that we service in extension, which are like, there's the family consumer science area, the agriculture and natural resource area, the youth development 4-H area, as well as community education. That comes through stakeholder information or stakeholder involvement. All of those program areas have committees that work with the county agent and help them to implement the different educational programs. I mentioned earlier that we reach a lot of people in 1 year. If you notice in this brochure, there's a list of the professional staff that is in my office. There is absolutely no way that we could reach those 400,000 individuals with just a handful of professional staff. And the way we do it, or the way we are able to do it, is that this past year, we were almost 4,000 individuals went through our volunteer training program. And they provided tremendous outreach in order for us to reach the masses, whether they were 4-H adult volunteers, whether they were volunteers that were focused on health and nutrition education, known as Master Wellness volunteers. They could have been volunteers that are working with the Ag and Natural Resource Agent. It could even be the volunteers that work with the Horticulture Agent, which are known as Master Gardener volunteers. Any of you here, by any chance? Got Master Gardener volunteers. Well, I'm hoping that after my presentation that we'll be able to motivate some of you to be part of that. But those volunteers provide, and I think you'll want to know this, Commissioner, $2.6 million worth of value on a yearly basis to the community. Their expertise, their work is able to reach out that much. So one of the volunteers that was so excited to be able to have some of their literature here is known as the Master Naturalist volunteers. These individuals focus on natural resource conservation. In fact, one of the group of volunteers that supports the Beacon Community Gardens are the Master Naturalist volunteers. They are not just at community gardens, but they're also at the Mitchell Lake Audubon Center. They support the San Antonio Parks and Recreation. They do wildlife rescue and rehabilitation. And one of the things that they're most proud of right now is being part of the Riverwalk Demonstration Garden. And they are there almost on a weekly basis helping educate the public on the plants that are doing well within the city of San Antonio. They lead tours, they lead wildflower and bird hikes, as well as helping them understand the importance of the downstream parks, as well as some of the other water issues that we have. They're part of the Stone Oak Median Project. They help with area plant rescues. And so if anyone is here interested in just the natural resources, helping remove some of the invasive plants, this is the group for you. They're right now hosting their fall class of about 30 volunteers, and they go through 10 weeks of intensive training. So in order to be able to hold the title of Master Anything, you have to go through so many hours of training and continue your continuing education for the rest of for each of the coming years. This is just another, there we go. This is a picture of some of the things that I think they did at Freedman Park. I'll go on to the next group, which is the Bexar County Master Gardener volunteers. We have about 400 of those ladies and gentlemen who are very dedicated to gardening. As a matter of fact, I know Commissioner Adkisson calls on David Rodriguez regularly for anything dealing with horticulture and gardening. And David was able, I believe, to get the plants that you have at your desk, at your table, at cost for the commissioner. Does anybody know what those plants are? Some of the, I guess those of us that are up in years may remember cooking with kale. It's a very, very nutritious, they call it a very powerful vegetable, and hopefully you'll take advantage of planting that in your garden. But this particular, just recently, back on October the 13th, the company known as Accenture called our office and wanted to know how they could provide an opportunity for their employees to give back to the community in the area of gardening. And so we were able to put together the Accenture employees as well as the Good Samaritan Community Center that is located off Saltillo And on one Saturday, along with the 4-H program and the Master Gardener volunteers, we were able to build 8 raised beds, clear the land in this area of the Good Samaritan Center, as well as be able to install a white fence around it. And so that's part of what we would consider neighborhood community revitalization. And the Master Gardeners, as well as the Master Naturalists, do a lot of that work around the area. Another program that we're very proud of, some of you may know either your grandchildren or your children who are in school, and they may have a classroom garden or an outdoor classroom, which is basically known as their garden. And so our office, through the support of county commissioners, we have what is known as a youth gardens coordinator who trains teachers every year. Right now we have about 80 schools enrolled in this program, and they all have from 1 raised bed to, I think, up to 8 or 9 raised beds in the different schools. And they go through a training with us that is known as Junior Master Gardeners and learn about all the, it's not just growing something, but actually the science that goes along with growing plants and learning how to learn about the earth science. So that's a very popular program that we have that hopefully if your school doesn't have it, you might ask them to give our office a call. If you have ever been to the San Antonio Botanical Gardens and gone to the very back of the garden, there is the renowned children's vegetable garden that is managed, coordinated through our office, through the support of the Master Gardener volunteers. And I'm amazed at the dedication. Every spring and fall, we recruit about 60 children, and they come with their parents and commit to 16 Saturdays. They get up and they're there at 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 7:30, to tend to their plot, because they all get a plot. And they're growing tomatoes. I mean, it depends on the season, if it's spring or whether it's fall. But that's been an educational part of our efforts to try to get more individuals to do some of the backyard gardening as well. And this is just a picture of some of the size of the gardens and the fact that they're there every weekend. We are right now in the middle of a fall garden. We're starting enrollment starting next spring. So if any of you have your grandchildren or your children that would love to be part of there, but you need to show up with them as well. You don't just drop them off. You need to stay there and help plant and dig and fertilize the soil, okay? As well as harvest. The last slide I have is a little bit of what the plants that you have at your table. You can either choose between the curly kale. Some of you have the curly leaf, and some of you have more of the straight, which is known as Toscano kale. But either one is going to be very delicious. Like I said, it's one of the most nutritious foods that nature provides. It came from the Greeks and the Romans used to grow it back thousands of years ago, and it came to the Americas around the 1600s. And so hopefully you all might enjoy it. You can either plant it in the ground. It's a very hardy plant. I don't think you can kill it. It's very disease resistant. So unless you just, I don't know, you should be able to have some kale ready in a couple of months. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lupe. And I forgot to tell all of the first-time Shades of Greeners that those plants at the table are going to be yours to take. They're your party favors. So as you leave today, you're welcome to take one of those plants with you.